Greetings, sports fans. Good morning, everybody. I hope you are having a great weekend, enjoying the NFL playoffs. I got my morning coffee. I'm feeling great this morning. I'm in the mood to talk some football. Let's get right into it. Can anybody beat the Baltimore Ravens? After what I saw last night, I think we can say they are the best team left in these playoffs. I'm being real when I say nobody is beating this Ravens team. Nobody's beating this team if Lamar plays like this, like the way he played yesterday. The only way they lose is if they undermine themselves with mistakes, drop passes, fumbles, and penalties, and I don't see that happening. I mean, they had their flaws early in the year where they had receivers dropping a lot of passes, and there was times where they just didn't look like they were on the same page. Well, late in the season, they have figured it out. As I said, early in the regular season, the Ravens offense suffered through it all just a bit. They turned it over quite a bit, but then began to play disciplined football over time. I don't see why Baltimore can't go all the way. I mean, I think this is the best team in the NFL right now. This team is so balanced that its defense alone leads the league in scoring defense, sacks, and takeaways in the same season. You would be crazy not to pick this team to win it all. You look at that offense, they're an absolute juggernaut. And listen, here's the thing about Lamar Jackson. He's an MVP quarterback. And the fact that they've given him a vote of confidence tells me this is an organization who never doubted him. You know, they finally gave him the contract. They truly feel that he's the right guy going forward for this franchise, and he is their quarterback. He is their quarterback. And to be honest with you, I don't know how anyone can't look at this and go, wow, he's really that damn good. Man, he's really good. You got to like what you saw from him yesterday. The optimistic Baltimore fans have to like what they saw from their quarterback yesterday. The level of production is through the roof. His confidence right now is at an all-time high. You just look at him, he can carve up defenses one way or another, so many different ways. I absolutely love watching him play. He's the game's most exciting player right now. Just electrifying. And as I watch this game, you can see it. He's on another level. And then when you factor in what the defense can do, I mean, it's scary. I mean, the defense is the best. This particular performance and the way they came out against the Texans, not the best first half, by the way. It screams Super Bowl though. The second half, they came out clicking on all cylinders. Like, who's beating this team? This is a well-rounded team that can beat you multiple ways. Win an MVP at quarterback. Who is stopping this team? Nobody is stopping this team. The AFC runs through Baltimore. It runs strictly through Baltimore. I'm going to say they win the whole thing. I'm calling it right now. I got them winning the whole thing. I've already penciled them in. Sorry, Josh Allen. Sorry, Bills Mafia. Everybody in Chiefs Kingdom. I hate to break the news, but Patrick Mahomes will have to wait and try it again next year. So will Josh Allen. And I feel like Josh Allen and that Buffalo Bills window is coming shut. But hey, Lamar Jackson is the thing right now. Because I just can't see anybody stopping this Ravens team. And that window of them winning the Super Bowl has just officially opened. Some people might disagree and say it's closing, but I think it's opening. And I know they have a lot of free agents after this season, but you still have Lamar Jackson. You still have moving parts to that offense coming back. And say what you will about Lamar, but he has a strong and accurate arm. and is very unappreciated. You always hear me say that about him. I think he's a very underrated quarterback. He doesn't nearly get as much love as, say, a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen. Everybody knows this team can't be beaten if you watch football. The only way that happens is if they have all these self-inflicted mistakes to beat themselves. But there's not a team out there that can overpower this team when they're playing their best football. You know? And I don't see them having any off nights in the championship game or the Super Bowl. There's not a team that can walk all over them, bully them, push and shove them, knock them out of contention. There's not. They're built for this. And now I'm more convinced that they are that team. Here is just another example. Look, the key part to me is their defense. You guys know I love defense. Their defense is the best in the league. It puts the pressure on opposing offenses. It is smothering. It stifles offensive attacks. And the great thing about this defense is that guys are exposed. The fact of the matter is they're complete on both sides of the ball. And, you know, to me, they're just stacked. They're loaded. They're built for this run. They're primed to win the Super Bowl. I think Lamar is the best quarterback this season. So predictably, it was a dominant performance. You can say it was a redemption, right? This was a huge win for Lamar Jackson. We know he hasn't had as much success in the playoffs. You needed this win. This was the biggest game of your life. Those big plays he made yesterday mattered. Right now, his legacy is these playoff games. These are the moments when he has to show up. I say this was his coming out party. And when they needed him to put on his cape and be a superhero and do something extraordinary, he was able to deliver. It was very impressive. We knew his track record coming into this one. And nobody can bring up the fact that he has flopped in the playoffs. You know, at least not after what we saw yesterday. I know there's still work to be done. The mission is not yet completed. But that was the start to something else to come. You know, this is a huge step for a quarterback who has, again, flopped in the playoffs, who hasn't really showed up in the playoffs, who has vanished in the playoffs. In his 4 postseason starts, the Ravens had gone 1-3 while averaging only 13 points per game. The point is, I think this is that moment for Lamar. I like the Ravens. I like Lamar. And they've checked all the boxes. They've beaten all the good teams. You look at their schedule, it was somewhat brutal, and they beat those very good teams. You know, they made a statement against those teams. They're healthy. They got everything they need to do it now. So this game showed that Lamar is the same caliber of player as a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen. This game showed me a lot. This game really, really, told me more about Lamar Jackson and who he is as a player. And I already knew who he was as a player. This is what we can be expecting from him this postseason if he continues to play like he has played. He has balled out. He clearly has something to prove to those who still have their doubts about him. His stellar day catapulted the Ravens into the AFC Championship game for the first time since the 2012 season. And guess what? This is the first time in history, I believe, the Baltimore Ravens will host a home game in the AFC Championship game. So that's a big story as well. And it also made him the first quarterback to both lead his team in rushing in a season and advance past the divisional round. But the never-ending debate about Jackson's ability as a passer needs to be put to bed. I don't want to hear any more of that. I don't want to hear it. I believe in his character. I believe in his work ethic. I believe in his talent. Now, what are they saying about him now? What is everyone saying about him today? What are they going to say if he wins the Super Bowl? Are we going to be ready to classify him as an elite quarterback? Are we going to put him in the same category as Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen? Lamar Jackson is worth a real discussion now as far as being elite tier. I always thought he was a top tier quarterback. And a lot of people are being unfair to Lamar. Even though they won yesterday. Respectfully. This year, with basically a different offensive coordinator, weapons around him, Jackson has been more efficient than ever with his quick passing, accuracy, and downfield throws. You know, it's really nice to see how much he's grown, how far he's come, how much he has improved. It's really nice to see because he's had his fair share of ups and downs. He had his fair shares of up and down years through injuries and offensive woes. When he's healthy, you can't take away anything this man can do. You can't. I mean, he is so damn explosive. He's hard to bring down. That was a really impressive second half yesterday. I don't know what adjustments were made or what was said in the second half, but whatever meeting or what John Harbaugh said at halftime worked. It's like they flipped the switch and they were a completely different team in the second half. They were rejuvenated. They were a different team in that second half. Very impressive performance. In the first half, they looked a bit rusty. You know, they weren't very settled. They weren't settled in. Lamar Jackson didn't look very comfortable. The routes were too long, and Lamar was being patient, and it didn't work. It was like they had no answer for D'Amico Ryans and Matt Burke's blitz packages. You have to find a way to contain a guy like Lamar, and you know the Houston Texans, did a great job, particularly in that first half. One way to do that, blitz and completely shut down running lanes, and that's what they did. But against a very difficult pressure package, Lamar Jackson was able to find ways to create plays and move the ball while staying efficient. You know, I thought he was actually brilliant against the blitz. Lamar faced a career high 75% blitz rate, completing 13 of 18 passes against the blitz for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was so composed. He was so relaxed. You can see his poise. Just a guy who delivered in a big way, in a big moment. The NFL's most exciting player continued his stellar season, showcasing his savvy pocket movement and immaculate accuracy. Even against the blitz, nothing seemed to fluster him. Like, he wasn't bothered by it at all. Jackson got rid of the ball more than a second quicker versus the blitz in the second half. I think it was 2.25 seconds compared to the first half, 3.51. And the way the Ravens adjusted to Houston's game plan in the second half was pivotal. That was game-changing for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken wanted to stop trying to push the ball deep down the field with the blitz coming. So, you know, they started calling shorter passes. You saw shorter passes. And that's what he did. Shorter passes started hitting, and it opened the run game. And they flipped their protections. And I will say this too. Harbaugh is a master at making halftime adjustments. So until further notice, ladies and gentlemen, the NFL belongs to the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I've said it. The NFL belongs to the Baltimore Ravens. Jackson's efficiency and athleticism have manifested itself in his statistical output. Jackson is just built differently. He has a rare physical ability. And when that is matched with fearlessness, you have defined the all-around quarterback that he is. Because that's what he is, man. This dude can flat out play. He can do it all. He can do it all. The brother is special. And without much question, he's the best quarterback remaining. He's the best quarterback remaining. I think Lamar is the standard by which all NFL quarterbacks are measured now. The level that Lamar is showing, the conviction he's playing with, are beyond remarkable. I mean, I really don't know what else to say about it. Right about now, he's playing with a high degree of confidence in terms of passing the ball. You know, we're seeing what he can do as a runner and a passer. Another brilliant day for Lamar Jackson. I mean, he played in the second half like the MVP that he is. Throwing one, running two in. You know, throwing one in, running two in. The defense went bananas. Not a single Houston drive within the Baltimore red zone. And then how about Isaiah Likely, man? Isaiah Likely made plays, got in the end zone as Lamar delivered. You got Zay Flowers out there. Man, you got players out there. You got Gus Edwards, man. You got a pretty solid running game, a good game plan. I mean, we can almost certainly say this is the best Ravens team ever assembled. This was a masterpiece. Defense and offense both looked amazing. I don't see anybody beating this Ravens team. The Ravens did a great job developing Lamar and building a team around his strengths. Elite coaching, stable franchise, and great formula. Those are all the things you need to be successful in the National Football League, to win championships. This is definitely an important year in terms of his legacy, in terms of Lamar Jackson's legacy, of course. That said, if he doesn't win this year, I can hear all the critics saying he's not an elite quarterback. I can hear it now. Oh, they're going to just come out and start bashing this dude, man. They're going to start clowning him. And I think Jackson knows this might be his best chance to win. And if he continues to unlock his playoff struggles and performs the way he did yesterday, he can win it all. His mindset is there. He has the skill set. He talks about wanting to win. This is his moment now, because he might never get this opportunity ever again. So you go out there and you win it this year. You seize your moment. You make it happen this year. Lamar Jackson goes into that title game and wets the bed. We will crucify him. I mean, I won't, but the vast majority will. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to be able to get it done in the playoffs. We already know what he's capable of doing in the regular season. Now, it's what can you do when the bright lights come on, when you're playing on the biggest stage. You have to earn that Lombardi trophy with your play on the field. You know, so here's his opportunity to make it happen. If you got the skills and the talent, it comes down to your competitive nature and your burning desire and your heart. You know, you got to have a lot of heart as well, and I think he does. A Super Bowl or bust for Lamar Jackson. I think that's his mentality. I think that's the way he's approaching this. But they took care of business. They won the game. And kudos to Ryans and Stroud, CJ Stroud. I'm getting better with that. But that was a great season for a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback, man. What a special year it was for them. A remarkable run came to an end. But you know what? it's a bright future ahead in Houston, and Houston will be that team that you don't want to face down the road for many years to come. It was a nice run for them, but of course the Baltimore Ravens were clearly the better team, and I mean they showed it with their play in yesterday's contest, and great win for the Baltimore Ravens. Now my coffee probably got cold. Oh, it's still warm. All right, everyone, I'm wrapping this up. It's been real. You guys have a great Sunday. Enjoy the NFL games today. We'll talk very soon. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, everyone.